For centuries, Loch Ness, nestled deep in the Scottish Highlands, has been the subject of fascination, mystery, and legend. The vast, dark waters of the loch have been home to a creature that, for many, represents the very essence of the unknown. The Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, as she's affectionately known. Stories of a giant, serpent-like creature living beneath the murky waters date back to ancient times, with witnesses from all walks of life claiming to have seen something truly extraordinary. But is there truth behind the myth? Or has the Loch Ness Monster simply become a tale passed down through generations, fueled by a mix of folklore, hoaxes, and an overwhelming desire for mystery? Join us today as we dive deep into the mystery of Nessie, explore the most famous sightings, analyze the evidence, and investigate the science behind the Loch Ness Monster. Is it all just a myth? Or is there something lurking beneath the surface of Loch Ness that defies explanation? Chapter 1. The Legend of the Loch Ness Monster. Long before modern sightings of the Loch Ness Monster began, the area surrounding Loch Ness was steeped in Celtic folklore. Ancient Scots believed in a variety of water spirits and mythical creatures that inhabited their rivers, lochs, and seas. The earliest stories of a water beast come from the Picts, the ancient people who lived in Scotland long before the Romans. Some scholars believe that these symbols may have been representations of a sea serpent, possibly influencing the later tales of the Loch Ness Monster. The creature was thought to be a guardian spirit, and these kinds of legends were not uncommon in Celtic traditions. In the Middle Ages, stories of serpentine creatures living in Scottish lochs became more widespread, but it wasn't until the 1930s that the Loch Ness Monster truly captured the imagination of the world. The modern legend of the Loch Ness Monster began in 1933 when a new road was constructed along the loch, allowing more people to visit and view its mysterious waters. That year, a man named George Spicer and his wife claimed to have witnessed a massive creature crossing the road in front of them near the loch. They described it as a large creature with a long neck, similar to the depictions of a prehistoric dinosaur. Chapter 2. The Most Famous Sightings. Spicer's sighting wasn't the only one. Over the following years, more and more people reported seeing a large creature in the loch. In 1934, one of the most famous pieces of evidence surfaced, a photograph known as the surgeon's photograph. Captured by Dr. Robert Kenneth Wilson, this image showed what appeared to be a large, mysterious creature with a long neck and small head rising out of the water. For decades, this photograph was considered one of the most convincing pieces of evidence of the Loch Ness Monster's existence. But in 1994, a man named Christian Sperling admitted that the photograph was a hoax, a model of a creature on a toy submarine. Although the hoax revelation was a blow to the Nessie myth, it didn't deter the millions of people who continued to believe in the creature. In fact, sightings of Nessie continue to this day. In 2018, a tourist named Gary Campbell reported seeing a large shadow moving through the loch, something that many have speculated might have been Nessie herself. And then, in 2020, sonar readings captured images of a large, mysterious object at the bottom of the loch, further fueling the debate about the creature's existence. Chapter 3. The Science Behind the Loch Ness Monster. So, could the Loch Ness Monster really exist? To answer that question, we have to turn to science. Loch Ness is vast, about 22 miles long, 1 mile wide, and 755 feet deep at its deepest point. It's the perfect place for a creature to hide, and the murky waters make it difficult for researchers to get a clear picture of what lies beneath. Over the years, numerous sonar scans and underwater explorations have been conducted, but despite these efforts, no definitive evidence of a large creature has ever been found. Experts have pointed out that the environment of Loch Ness isn't suitable for a large, unknown species to thrive. The loch's cold, low-oxygen waters make it unlikely that any creature of the size and nature described in Nessie sightings could survive. But that doesn't mean that there aren't mysteries still to solve. Some researchers believe that what people have seen could be misunderstood animals. For instance, large sturgeons, which have long bodies and can grow to enormous sizes, have been reported in the loch. Similarly, giant eels or other creatures like otters might explain some of the reported sightings. Chapter 4. Theories and Hoaxes. With so many sightings, it's easy to see why some people believe in Nessie. But not all of the stories are credible, and some were later exposed as elaborate hoaxes. One of the most famous hoaxes occurred in 1960 when a businessman named Tim Dinsdale filmed what he claimed was a large creature moving through the loch. The footage, however, was blurry and inconclusive. Years later, Dinsdale himself admitted that it could have been anything from a boat to an otter. In addition to hoaxes, some have argued that the legend of the Loch Ness Monster is merely a case of mass hysteria or the power of suggestion. Tourists visiting Loch Ness are often already primed to see something extraordinary, and in many cases, their minds may interpret ordinary events, like a ripple in the water or a floating log, as evidence of Nessie. So, what's the truth? Is the Loch Ness Monster a real creature, lurking just beneath the surface, or is it a story born of myth, hoaxes, and the human need for mystery? The truth is, we may never know. Despite decades of research and exploration, the Loch Ness Monster remains as elusive as ever. But one thing is certain, the legend of Nessie continues to captivate the imaginations of people around the world. Whether you believe in the Loch Ness Monster or think it's just a legend, the story of Nessie endures, part of the rich folklore of Scotland, a symbol of our fascination with the unknown, and a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our channel. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown and come back for another Mystery of Humanity.